This is Fontana Hart for Dollhouse Publishing, and I am delighted today to welcome one of my favorite people, the children's author, Lance Darren Cole. Hey, Lance, how are you?
Thanks very much. How kind of you.
You have a beautiful new book out. It's called Monarchs by the Sea, and it has a gorgeous message for everyone who reads it, children and adults alike. Please tell us more about your gorgeous book.
The idea is that it's a reminder for us to step away from society and to realign with each other in nature.
I love the names of your main characters, King Walnut and Queen Aberdeen, and I know that was inspired from the fact that you live in Hamilton. Tell me more.
Well, yes, I'm a cyclist, so I ride everywhere, and I often notice, that one time I noticed the intersections that they were like almost proper names when you put the two of them together. Like I passed Myrtle and Delaware, so that was Myrtle, Delaware. And then as I was riding, I passed King and Walnut, and I was like, oh, King Walnut. And then later on that same ride, I passed Queen and Aberdeen. So that's Queen, Aberdeen. And then as I turned and went on to Bay and Herkimer streets, and that became Herkimer Bay, the setting for the story. And from there, my imagination went wild and included all sorts of thoughts of, beach holidays and where do we escape to in life.
I was going to ask you, so you said your imagination goes wild. What comes to you? A visual, a word, an idea? Like, writing a story like this, I think children's books are particularly challenging because there's so few words. So every word has to be perfect.
The first sentence came to me while I was on the bike. King Walnut and Queen Aberdeen met at Herkimer Bay. And I was like, as I'm riding, like searching for their paradise, because I just crossed Paradise Street earlier, and a Pearl, and Pearl Street also, and a pearl or so they say. And then once I had that foundation, then it all just came at once. One just flowed right after another. I was on sort of a creative roll.
A role, no pun intended. Now, speaking of creative roles, a lot of the words you choose have double meanings, like the word monarch or present or serving. Was that intentional?
Yeah, well, because I would use the word initially the first time in its original context, and then I like alliterations, so then I realized, oh wait, it has another way you interpret that word, and then I would just put them as close together as I possibly could for the purpose of alliteration, and then it ends up creating a new meaning. And so presence being most children would think of that as the present, a gift that you receive, and then a lot of the adults understand the concept of presence, and it's also an opportunity not only to think about it like that, but also a teaching moment so that children can expand on their vocabulary.
And the illustrations are just gorgeous. They're spectacular. Tell me about your partnership with Nicholas.
Nicholas and I were in a shared studio space down at a wonderful facility called the Cotton Factory. We're in the same studio space, and I noticed his style of work, and he actually read one of my poems and liked it, well, this one, and so he started doing some doodles, and then it sort of just went from there. And and so we were only like 30 feet from each other as we were co-creating.
Now, one thing that's interesting is that message about gratitude, about staying present in the moment, all mindfulness, all things that are strikingly important now, especially as we are in the midst of COVID.
It's given often as a gift for people, so it's a reminder the person you're either sharing it with, whether you're reading it together over online or over the phone, or whether you sent it to somebody. The idea is that this book represents being present with you in the moment when you're reading it together. And it's really something from the heart, from one to another, and to have a lighthearted mini escape. A memory of our journeys and how they're often swift reminds us that your presence in the present is the gift.
It's a beautiful message. Tell me, what's bubbling in your imagination? What's next? What's our next book we're going to see from you?
So I wrote this piece called Mrs. Never Late and Mr. Better Late, and that's my collective apology for lateness and missed appointments. And it engages in the same sort of way. However, Mrs. Never Late gets the final word on better late than never. However, never late's the better way. So anyway, it's in the same family as Monarchs by the Sea, and then there's a third one that is also, so it's going to be a trilogy of the three of them.
So more fun new characters for us to get to know. Thank you so much. The book is called Monarchs by the Sea by Lance Darren Cole. This is Dollhouse Publishing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a gift.